Este es el foro 16 de los estudios Warner Bros. Aquí en Hollywood, California, el lugar donde se ha filmado Batman vs Superman. Todos los detalles de utilería, todos los gadgets, todas las cosas increíbles del Caballero de la Noche. Y ahora le tocó el turno a Ben Affleck. Estoy aquí junto al traje. ¿Será cómodo de utilizar? ¿Qué tal si el mismísimo Ben Affleck nos lo cuenta en exclusiva desde Hollywood sin escape? Vamos a ver.
I'm getting slow in my old age, Alfred.
Ben, ¿cómo estás?
Muy bien. ¿Y usted?
Muy bien.
Gracias.
Muchas gracias, felicitaciones. Congratulations, you made it.
Thank you.
You made it.
Thank you.
Well, here I am.
So how do you make Batman your own? And which aspect from the character should never change? And what new things are you able to explore?
That's a really good question. I think there has to be, at the center of it, you can't change. There's a fundamental, darkness to the Dark Knight that you have to embrace. He can't be too sunny and optimistic. You can't see. It's like you can't have your play Hamlet and make him really decisive. You can't violate certain fundamental aspects of who Batman is and the DNA of the character. That being said, we really wanted to do something different from what the guys had done before. Usually you want to do something different because you're trying to fix what's bad. We wanted to do something different because the Chris Nolan movies were so good that we just didn't want to try to do another chapter of their movies. We wanted to do our own thing. Otherwise, we felt we would have paled in comparison to those extraordinary films. And so we went about making a Batman that was set in a world where there are multiple superheroes. So he's, that's a whole different sort of universe and DNA from what Chris and Christian did, and we kind of used that as our touchstone and tried to make that seem as realistic and plausible as possible.
Esta es la misma estatua que van a ver en la película y vamos a conversar ahora con Henry Cavill, el mismísimo Superman. ¿Qué me contó? Chequea. Henry, how are you?
I'm very well, how are you?
Thank you so much for your time. Happy to meet you.
Likewise.
Batman and Superman both are orphans, so what other things they have in common and what things make them different?
They both wear capes. Superman's a nice guy, Batman is not so nice.
That's the main difference. What can the audience expect for these two forces of good but fighting each other?
Well, that's what's interesting about the movie is that they are both heroic in some sense, and yet they both the storytelling, like script by Chris Terrio, is so smart that it kind of gets you to see both of their sides and understand where they're both coming from, and yet see how they can be at odds with one another. So it's not just that the movie starts and you ring a bell and these two guys go fight each other. There's an elaborate story that takes place that develops and that is complex and that I think hopefully is provocative and makes you think and raises certain themes, and I hope will resonate with audiences and make it more than just two guys socking each other.
What do you think Superman is the perfect adversary for Batman?
We can't really call them adversaries. I wouldn't like to. It's not like one's a supervillain. It is all to do with perception. The wonderful thing about Superman and Batman having a conflict is that one is human and the other is not. But ironically, the one which is not has far more in the way of human psychological frailties which can be taken advantage of in a conflict such as we see in the movie.
Definitely.
Tell me, do you bleed? You will.
Your experience with the suit, was comfortable? How was the experience to put it together? All that.
But that wasn't too bad. Actually, the suit actually helped. Zach was very much wanted this Batman to feel like kind of like a boxer, like a brawler, like more physically heavy and use his fists more, not so much with all the gadgets and everything. I mean, there's still the gadgets, but not so relying on that as much as his own just physical strength, and also a guy, but you can see that it's weighing on him, and that he physically gets tired and stuff like that. And so the suit was really helpful because it adds heft and weight and a certain fatigue, and you sink into it and you feel kind of exactly like sort of what we wanted the character to feel. So it was very helpful.
And the car?
The car is awesome. The car is great. I mean, it's very loud. You have to wear earplugs when you drive the car because the engine's right behind you, and it's so to the extent to which they let me drive the car, because I did cause a few accidents driving one of the other cars, I had a great time with it.
What things you can do between takes? You're wearing the suit. It's a long shooting. So what things you can do? What things you cannot do? Between takes with the whole thing.
Sitting down can be a little difficult.
Okay.
So it's often about finding a comfortable position to sit in. Normally, you sort of have to be very straight, and it's okay once you're in one position, but getting out of that position without tearing the suit can be a little tricky.
And the cape is always digital, right?
Not always digital, no. The cape is live action as well. Sometimes, for some of the action sequences, it's added after the fact for artistic reasons and also for practical reasons.
How do you feel, just as a guy, as a human regular being, like have an action figure with your face? So how cool is that?
It's pretty extraordinary and it's very cool, yeah. Especially when you give it to your nephews.
Exactly, you can get your uncle is Superman.
Yes.
When you're growing up, remember with a particular character that got your attention to be, okay, I like that, I want to be a fan of this?
Superman has always been my favorite. And as much as I wasn't a huge comic book fan as a kid, I have found that recently, over the past few years, I have begun to understand Superman more and more clearly.
So congratulations.
Thank you very much.
And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Well, congratulations again, Ben.
Thank you
so
very
much for
much.
your time.
Gracias.
Gracias.